We are live. Welcome to my video. This is going to be my thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 8, Too Far Gone. The episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be. Like all other videos I've done on the show so far, I absolutely love this episode. Spoilers for the episode and all the ones leading up to it. Oh boy. Okay, let's dive right in. So, friend of the channel, friend of mine, guy who actually requested I do this show, Arts Cafe, told me that this episode and others coming up were, big. Like, they really had a big budget, and yeah, it really shows. So let's see. I think... the governor takes prisoners, and I appreciate the little moment when he says, like, he tells the I guess they need a name, campers, the happy campers. So I took two of them prisoner, and Tara's like, you did what now? But he manages to save it and lays it on real thick. They're murderers, and some, I assume, are good people. They killed my daughter. Wow, just like, and it's that thing of like, when they hear that it's a prison, of course they're going to accept the idea that, yeah, these are killers, and once they believe they're killers, yeah, the fact that they might have killed, like every so often you hear about on the news, someone killed a child, so just, yeah, let's see, I think that might just about cover, if the governor had survived, I think he would ask Lily if she could please announce herself whenever she can hear his voice, because she keeps walking in on him saying or doing something that she realizes is horrible. And yeah, it ends up getting him killed. She kills him. Understandable. I really liked him talking to the two hostages. If you spend as much time fixing the hole in his roof, probably wouldn't be a leak. It's more leaky than roofy. Roofed. I completely botched my own punchline there. Anyway, yeah. Yes, Herschel, talking about, you've changed, I can tell. Rick has changed, this can work. He's always trying to make, just, like, appeal to people's humanity, And the thing about, Michonne, like, as soon as she gets the chance, she's like, I will end you. I will, and Herschel's just like, let me try my way. Just like, she kind of only has one speed when it comes to, like, the governor. It's kind of a one-track mind, which also, like, she just accepted that she probably wasn't gonna be able to find him, and then he takes them captive. She gets taken captive by him a second time. Sword taken away from her again. Like, just, I mean, dude, this is more Death Wish than all those Death Wish movies combined. Holy shit. But yeah, and the thing, he says, Michonne, I know now, Penny was dead. But that doesn't change anything, just like, yeah, and Right, and I think he did say, they took my eye to the happy campers, which, that actually technically is accurate. He just doesn't say why, but yeah, Herschel points out, you have a daughter. How can you not, my daughters are in that prison. How can you not, how do you not realize how horrible it is that you're going to kill my daughters when you care so much about your own? And he just says, because they're not my daughters, and yeah, there are sadly people like that, and some of them do get power, it's this thing, like, he genuinely only cares about his own. If someone is not his, then yeah, he just doesn't care. Let's see. Yeah. He manages to get them to go to the prison, and we get the... I thought they did a really great job on the, what's the word? Yeah. We don't need to see Rick say the exact words. We can tell almost immediately what it was he said to Daryl. And yeah, Daryl, he took it better than I thought he might. And just before he gets to... Rick also tells Tyrese. I guess they're spacing them out. They're making sure he only tells one person per episode, on screen at least. I guess he told Maggie and Herschel in the same episode, maybe? I forget. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, really, really powerful scene. I am glad that they're spacing them out. I don't want it to become numbing. And yeah, Tyrese is, he's like, look, there's a psycho loose, and they're, mutilating rats and killing people, and and Rick is like, I don't think this was the killer of and yeah, I'm not sure who it is that is, doing this with rats. It's genuinely incredibly fucked up. But yeah, there's an explodium interruptus, and yeah, the thing, I like, the governor practically says, I have a tank. Your point is invalid. And I thought they did a really great job cutting back to Tara. These little things, fuck, I forget the exact situation, but at one point it cuts back to her and she's like, I don't really know about this, just, Rick, you, pigtails. He's getting all Sawyer up in here. No, I think he said you with the pigtails, but yeah. Is this what you want? Maybe he picked up on, yeah. Rick can be very perceptive sometimes. She's not. She's not even trying, I don't think, to hide her discomfort with this whole situation. Yeah, and the entire conversation, just there's so much. Okay, let's see. Yeah, him saying, the governor says you leave before sundown, and we'll live in the prison. If you stay, we'll take the prison by force. And yeah, we have these little things of, Rick goes down there to talk, and the others prepare guns, and the thing with, the kids, I don't know, we should have guns. She finally took a page out of the book of Carol, damn. And let's see, and they talk about, readying the bus, and the bus leaves. Yeah. Let's see, Rick saying, we can all live in the prison. And the governor's like, we can't live too close to you. And he's like, and Rick's like, no, there's enough room. We can live in separate blocks. We'll never have to see each other. Just please. There are children in there. They won't survive moving. Just. And that was also, I think that was one of the bits where it cuts to Tara and she's like, "We're doing this. This isn't a red flag to anybody but me. Are for real?" And yeah, Mitch is just 100% like, I got a tank. This is I'm finally getting to use this thing. And he also tells Tara, pick a, what was it, like, raise your gun and shoot at them. And then she puts down the gun. So, like, I think she heard him. I just think she, like, it's one of those things where, like, if you want me to do that, I'm going to do as close to the opposite as at all possible. Let's see. I think, and Alicia is gung-ho, and it ends up getting her killed. She thought Tara would be 100% on board as well. Yeah, the entire action it was very tense and cool, but it's also this thing of like, I want them to stop fighting, because these are, the happy campers are not bad people. This is not like, I think some of the people of Woodbury, the whole gladiatorial zombie fight thing, and like trial by combat, let's kill them if we think they've done something, that whole thing. But the happy campers, generally, they're just worried. He scared them, saying, there's gonna be more zombies. Megan, I can't believe they would actually. I swear, until I saw the blood, I thought they were gonna let her live. The show keeps making us care. To paraphrase, I think her name was Nella? Lindsay Ellis's friend. This asshole made me care. I love the show. I'm not saying, but just like, yeah. The whole thing with, she's digging, and they had to do the goodbye, and he's he's like, can you give me a hug to say goodbye? And she's like, but my fingers are all, making mud pies, or the what did she say? Peanut butter sandwich. God damn it. And then, he's like, okay, I guess you shouldn't ruin my jacket. And then he picks her up, and big hug, and she's like, oh, I ruined your jacket. And he's like, no, you improved it. God fucking damn it. Fuck. Okay, and then, she manages to get the sign out, and is, warning flash flood area. So yeah, God damn it. There was a zombie there. And also one of the best designs, like the fucked up teeth, really cool. And, grabs her, pulls her clothes. God damn it. And the thing with, come play with me. I know in a little bit, because she's got to worry about the walker crossing the water, like, can it actually get, because you don't want to lose sight of it. And it looks like, okay, no, it's getting knocked over by the current, so it's not going to be a threat, So she keeps not going to Megan, and then Megan is attacked. And I thought they were going to let the governor live longer, but I do appreciate, I think there's a, he live by the gun, die by the gun, he created these circumstances. They could have gone elsewhere, or he could have agreed to Rick's offer for them to live together. And you can see in his face, he's like, this isn't going how I thought it would. You know, he doesn't want them to live together. He felt confident that Rick was gonna be as obstinate as he used to be. You know, he wasn't always the easiest to make an agreement with. You know, but yeah, you know, there's multiple interpretations. I think I worry a little that Lily is going to blame herself, thinking, oh, you know, if I had just gone to Megan. And I mean, you know, hypothetically, yeah, but she did also have to keep watch. The problem is that the governor took everybody else with, you know, so yeah, it was just the two of them. She has to hold, you know, keep watch. She was on top of the camper van, I think it's called, so she couldn't get to Megan quite fast enough once the screaming started. Yeah, I was thinking that they were going to let the governor live, and he might struggle with, what's he called? He might blame himself, you know, which is fairly reasonable because he's the one who brought them all there when it really wasn't necessary to go there and bring everyone and go as like this, yeah. And I will also say, I mean, I do somewhat understand why he thinks that it's going to go that way. Let's see. But yeah, the thing about, you know, the hug, you know, him hugging Megan like that, you know, I'm thinking, I want her to have a father, although I guess by the end of this episode, no longer necessary. You know, I want her to have a father, but I also really worry about what the governor is going to do. You know, he's looking to make Rick walk the plank or something. And yeah, let's see, he gets out the fucking sword, and Herschel and the, you know, and at one point Herschel turns around and says, we can all, you know, we can work this out, and just always trying to see the good in people, and just like, yeah. And the governor just, no, he's not, you know, and I think it's specifically the one of the lines were something like, you know, we can put it all behind us, people change. And I think people change is what fundamentally, that just, it seemed to genuinely trigger, and I use that term unironically, I hope to one day not have to say that, it seems to genuinely trigger him. He can't stand the idea, and yeah, I mean, if Rick can change and other people can change, why can't the governor change? You know, it's again, you know, we already know he has these dictatorial leanings, kind of fascistic. Fascism doesn't believe that there is any other way, you know, and it's not only fascism, but yeah, you know, a lot of terrible people, they feel confident their way is the only way, and the idea that it could, yeah, and I think, you know, yeah, to some extent, like, he's done to, you know, Rick says we've all done terrible things, you know, and yeah, I mean, he the governor has, you know, I agree with Rick that everyone, and, you know, in the world of the show has, but the governor, he's, you know, it's sunk cost fallacy. If he's done all this and there was another way, no, that's unacceptable. You know, he could have just, yeah. But yeah, the right, Lily shooting the governor, you know, she definitely holds him responsible, and I think maybe also the fact that he shot her daughter in the fucking face, you know, like, I appreciate, you know, okay, so she doesn't become a zombie, but still, like, and he doesn't seem, you know, he doesn't show that he's upset about it, you know, and I think on some level I do believe he cared about Megan, but it's his one-track mind, you know. He still wants to kill Rick, and yeah, fuck, the knocking over of the fences. Yeah, and all the holes put in it by Forrest Whitaker's silenced pistol. I mean, the tank, cannon. Yeah, I don't know that they're going to be able to. I mean, it seems like by the end of this episode they are trying to leave the prison. I don't know that they're ever going to be able to return to it. I think it's impossible for them to make it completely safe again, ever. Let's see. I think I love the way that the tank is filmed. Like, there's shots from like down below. There's one from like underneath the tank, like between the between the two tank treads. Just, yeah, really, really cool stuff. Let's see. I think, yeah, a lot of great stuff during the battle itself. Yeah. Amazing choreography, as always, with the action on the show. Yeah, the bit with Rick managing to get the jump on the governor, and both of them hitting each other, and just, yeah, really, really effective. And the when he's strangling Rick, god damn. And then the sword. And I will say, at first I was thinking, is Michonne really going to leave this up to chance? But, I mean, she definitely, there's no way she missed every single organ. Like, it's just a matter of time, and he's surrounded by walkers. But then Lily also walks up and shoots. Yeah. The governor, after shooting the zombies that were walking towards the fence before the attack and all, he looks out of place shooting a zombie and then not being able to immediately go back into his house. Let's see. I think that might... yeah, the Daryl being a badass, as per usual. Just like fucking. So normally I'd call it a human shield, but it's a walker, so zombie shield, and they're like aware, but they can't, they can't really shoot around it. They try to just perforate the sucker, and the, not to be confused with Suckhead, and he like, throws a grenade, like, oh, grenade, and then after he gets over the tank and it's a grenade down the fucking cannon barrel, like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, Mitch is like, truce, I don't have a white flag anymore. I'd use my underwear, but they're not white no more. And just, yeah, yeah, Arrow without really any hesitation, just, yeah. Michonne freeing herself? God damn. Yeah, just doing a couple of rolls to get away, cutting her hands free on the sharp piece of metal. She like trips one of the people and like hits the, oh my god, in the head, I think, and yeah, she got her sword back. It's her favorite sword. What do you want? That was also when Rick said, "We've all done terrible things to survive." It specifically cut to a close-up of Michonne and her face like she's remembering something, or she's thinking, does someone suspect or something? Yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna find out some specific thing. Maybe explaining why she was so uncomfortable about being close to Judith. Let's see. I think that pretty well gets... Right. Also, fuck. The reaction shots of Maggie and Beth as their father is being threatened and then killed, and the... Oh, God. and also like they shoot and keep shooting, and yeah. I'm glad Tara made it. I hope I hope we're gonna see her again, and that she gets to live at least a little bit longer. I mean, she was against it, and she can, you know, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna believe her, but she can say, I didn't shoot anyone here. You know, I threw down the gun as soon as I could. And certainly Rick sensed that she was reluctant. Okay, Tyrese, you know, makes it. I was thinking, like, I don't know how they're gonna, how he's gonna survive this, unless they both have to reload really suddenly. But then, you know, gunshot from off screen, and, you know, Alicia turns to see, and it's the kids. Like, yeah, she was right. We should have fucking shotguns, and for like a couple of seconds there, I'm thinking, well, I mean, I don't want the kids to die, but I also don't want them to be murderers, or murderers again. They already shot one of them, and I also don't, you know, I don't want Alicia to die, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, you know, she did choose to keep going after, you know, she heard, you know, there's kids here. They won't live if we're forced to leave. Let's see. Yeah. I really hope it's a misdirect. I hope that Judy isn't dead. Because we saw blood, but we didn't see a body. But then on the other hand, maybe they don't want to show a dead baby. This was... Am I... Yeah. Moving on. It's clear the Grimeses think that Judy is dead. I really hope. Because, like, there's a chance that she got into the bus, maybe, or something. We didn't watch it every second. It's possible they're stealing bread. And yeah. I really hope it's... Because it could be somebody else's blood. I hope it's not G's blood either, but... Goddamn. Okay, so let's the bus leaving, and they, you know, they have to run, and, you know, just, yeah. I think that's everything. Fuck. Yeah, I legit, I was not at all expecting the governor to die this soon. Yeah, I thought they did a good job of making it credible that ultimately, you know, they do lose at, you know, the happy campers are not able to take the prison. Yeah. Right, and yeah, Carl just emptying the rifle after believing Judy to be dead. Yeah. Right, and you know, Glenn being like, you can't go alone. Well, Glenn, you could barely go at all. Maybe you should just leave her to it, you know. And they keep having characters at, you know, where's Judy? Yeah. Yeah, you know, and ultimately, yeah, I believe it is Maggie who points out to Beth, you know, they have to get out of there. We have to go bus, Beth. We have to go bus.